Hello, everyone. This is 451 Science Communication. My name is Sarah Sheldrick, and this video is for the books. I have them right down here. I have a stack of books. I'll grab a hold of them. So these books are the ones that are required for the class. You only have to choose one of them. Your first assignment with the book is to choose a book. You'll make a video, which will tell us which book you chose and why. So I'll be looking forward to watching your video. Really, when you make your video in that assignment for the first book choice assignment, is to really make sure it's about you. This is the first time I'm going to really be getting to know you. Tell me why you chose the book for you and what you found interesting. Don't tell me about the book. I read all the books, I know all the books. So make sure you have that focus. You'll have two more book report assignments in the term. You'll have book report 2.0. And that one is like a midterm type of check-in on the book. We do it about week 4 or 5 of the term, somewhere in there. And that's where you are going to tell us how it's going with the book and what is standing out to you. Maybe zoom in and focus on something. You'll have another assignment. Well, you'll have to choose something from the book to teach us or explain us. And I'll actually have you do that a few times. You might do it in your team meetings. That's another video. I'm not going to talk about the team meetings in this video, but you will be assigned a team and you will have a list of questions you'll have to discuss in your meetings. Those of you who've taken my class before know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, there'll be another video just for that. So, uh, and there'll be questions about your book. Well, and some of you will be in meetings where people will have the same book as you, or some of you will be in meetings with different people at different books. And that's really interesting because um, when you start talking about your book with other people, it's interesting to hear what other people thought if they have the same book, or it is really interesting to hear what's happening in those other books that other people are reading. So let's use those moments to really make sure we have that you've gotten into the book enough that you can communicate some ideas. And then the third book book report 3.0, which is close to our final week of the term. I think it's week 8 or 9. You are supposed to complete your book by week 7. That's at the very so when you get your book, like I do here, I divide it up into 7 pieces, or if you're doing an audio book, look at, oh, maybe it's a 7 hour listen. You can divide that up, so you can keep track of what you're supposed to be reading week to week. Now, some people just like to eat a book, there's like all whole. And that's okay too. If you do that, I still suggest that you divide everything up into 7 bites, even if you plan to read it all in one weekend. And then at the end of each bite, make sure you maybe take a card, an index card or something, or a post-it note or notes, however you do notes, maybe on your iPad or on a Word doc, and just write out your favorite quote, page number, write out something that you found interesting in this part, and what was this part of the book about? Just things that stood out to you, even if it's just keywords, and then slip that right into the book. And because when an assignment comes up, if you decide to read it all in one bite, an assignment's going to come up and say, somewhere in these 3 chapters, choose something that stood out to you. I don't want you to have to read the whole book again, right? We want you to be able to use your time efficiently. So if you put page numbers and little note cards in there, then you would have a really good way to reference. Oh, that's right. I really liked this part of the book. I wrote it's on the page 63. So now I'm going to go there, and there you go. So, okay. Okay, making sure I got that right. Okay. let's talk about the books. I think that's all the assignments that and the way we use the book in the class. So no, there's one more where you. Oh, I already told you that. Well, I got to keep track of this. It's only been 7 minutes and I'm already losing track of what I'm saying in this video. That's hilarious. Okay, next. I'm going to go over each book and say what you might expect if you choose this book. Let's start with Neil deGrasse Tyson's Starry Messenger. This one is a little bit different. It's not a book on physics, though he talks about astrophysics and he talks about science in the book, but he uses that as the platform or the stage to look at our experience in modern society, what is happening culturally, ethically, what is our responsibilities to each other and relationships. And I'm curious if you choose this book, I'll be asking you questions like how is he using science as a bridge, or how does he help us understand better how to be in the world? Now, this book, because it's going to deal with culture and modern society, it does deal with cultural issues that are sometimes politicized. I think there's a chapter on conflict and resolution. There's a chapter on risk and reward, gender and identity, law and order. So, all of these things, he's going to dive deep into those topics and talk about we are being bombarded with information like we've never been before. How do you weed through it? Misinformation. Those are topics of the class as well. So, in this book, that's the kind of thing that you can expect. The next book is The Guide to Making Your Science Matter, Escape from the Ivory Tower. Escape from the Ivory Tower. Okay, so this book is a great book for my scientists, my engineers, my computer scientists, anyone who is really interested in research and how do you take research and communicate it. We definitely see a lot of people trying to do that in our media world. And some are doing a really good job communicating research and science, and some people not so much. Why? What's happening? So, this book is going to kind of break down how to communicate a science, and it's really to talk to people who are not science. So, this idea of the ivory tower is the idea of academia and being like it's really exciting when you're in a room with other people who are doing the same research and you can be in all the jargon and nuance of the science. But if we want to actually have our science matter in the world, we have to be able to get out of that ivory tower room and translate it to the world. And so that this book is interested in that. It's going to deal with um, journalism, uh, what if a journalist is interviewing a scientist, what are they looking for? So if some of you in this class actually are comm majors who are thinking about going into either working for a company where they might have to be in marketing or public relations where they have to explain ideas, or going into a legislature office and being able to convince policymakers that something needs to be, need a new policy about water. That's my area. So that's something. Interviewing, let's see, reach out instead of waiting. Lots of different interesting chapters in here about communicating science beyond academic spaces or just science spaces. Okay, let's see. The next one is The Sports Gene, Inside the Science of Extraordinary Athletic Performance. So this book, this author, David Epstein, he has a uh, TED Talk. So you could look him up on and see if this book sounds interesting to you. If you're an athlete and you are hoping one maybe to be a coach or go into the field of athletics, this would be a really interesting book. You might find this really interesting. It is, I will give you a warning. This book has a lot of biology and human anatomy. That's great if you're going to be a physical therapist or if you take a lot of those courses, if you're interested in kinesics and physiology and that field that often is paired with athletics. Uh, but, like, for example, there's a chapter on vision. And so it's going to go really deep into the biology and science of vision. If you're choosing this book, you will be in. This is, I think, the only book that you really dive into the world of science in a pretty deep way. But I thought it might be interesting for quite a few of you. If you are someone who is a scientist who studies biology, you don't have to be an athlete to enjoy this book. You might really like it. There's a whole chapter on hormones and gender and the history of the Olympics and dealing with gender issues. Um, and so that's really interesting. I thought the book was a fast read. I read it uh, just over a couple weeks. So I think he's a really good author. Okay, the next book. If I understood you, would I have this look on my face? So this is by Alan Alda. He is a celebrity who was played a surgeon, a doctor on TV in a famous television show from the 1970s and 80s called MASH, which you may have heard about it. But if not, Alan Alda really became kind of endeared to us through his role on this kind of a military doctor show. And he has a pretty extensive film career as well. But it turns out his real uh, love was science, and he is really interested in how science is communicated. He started a school on science communication, and he designs workshops. And his main interest is really working with the medical field. Surprise. He played a doctor on TV, but in real life, he talks to doctors about communicating science. Those of you who are big fans of medical shows like Grey's Anatomy, ER, The Pit is about ready to come out in a couple days. Uh, he kind of falls in that category of television shows, and he then takes that and he teaches doctors how to communicate. So it's really about building relationships and how to listen. He puts a lot of emphasis on our listening skills. So that's our books. Those are the assignments you have to do for them. And I hope you find something that you can connect to. Keep in touch with me and let me know how it's going. Bye, everybody.